Well, a shocking video has surfaced this month of Ohio administrators in the Upper Arlington School District planning to trick parents if Ohio passes a ban on critical race theory. Watchdog Accuracy in Media just exposed more of what we already knew. We cannot trust the schools. They are foaming at the mouth to fill children's brains with rotten lies for social and political gain. Here is Accuracy in Media's undercover work in the Upper Virginia School District.
Whether you can pass a bill that you can't teach CRT in a classroom, but if you didn't cover programming, or you didn't cover extracurricular activities or something like that, that message might still get out. We kept getting these emails, do you have critical race theory in your curriculum, which was what the talking point was from a certain news channel. So we got to the point where first we're going to ask you, what do you mean by critical race theory?
Do you think we're teaching higher education, grad school stuff to your second grader?
And then the second thing is, no, we don't have that in our curriculum. You didn't ask about the conversations in the hallway.
We have some parents that, they don't fully understand. So, it's when we trick them, At
the end of the day, we can close the door and teach what's right. And I would presume and hope, I don't know, that an attitude would be similar here if stupid laws got passed, I don't know.
It's hard to predict, it's hard to predict that, but we would find parameters for which we could, absolutely.
You didn't ask about the conversations in the hallway.
So you get the point. The video goes on and on. Parents are being intentionally deceived. And they're not the only ones. The state is also being left out of what the school does, because just as the administrators confess, no matter what the state tells them, what laws are passed, schools can loophole it and do as they please. Joining me now is Kathy Poltz, the president of the Upper Arlington Education Coalition, board member of the Protect Ohio Children Coalition. Also joining is Adam Guillette, the president of Accuracy in Media, who brought us this fabulous report. Thank you, panel, for being on here. Adam, I'll first go to you. This is a pretty shocking video. Any parent, forget Ohio, any parent in the nation should see this video and they should wonder, okay, I wonder what my school district's doing.
Well, I've got bad news for them. Your school district is probably doing the same thing. I've been over 150 school districts in the past year, and we hear that sort of stuff again and again and again. They use different tactics to lie and deceive parents. They use tactics to break the law in many states because they are so determined to teach the principles of critical race theory, whether you want your children to hear them or not.
Yeah, and Kathy, over to you. What goes through your mind seeing things like this? We've seen this time and time again. I cover a lot of education on this show, a lot of the corruption in education. I used to write about it when I was with Campus Reform, College News. What goes through your mind when you see teachers, administrators being so brazen like this?
Yeah, I find it incredibly shocking. I wasn't so shocked that some places would try to hide it, but I was really stunned when I noticed that it was Matt Boas, who was in our district. I know him. I met him when he started working for the district. And to be so brazen, as you said, to hide it, to be disrespectful, to have an agenda that we don't really know about is terrible.
You mentioned you know him. Have you talked to him since this came out?
No.
Has he said anything, made any statements, or is he hiding, ducking all of this, trying to?
Yes, there have been no statements from him. We just received an email from the school board last night that said he has taken a leave he's on leave. The board didn't do that. He chose to take a leave, and the school board is frantically trying to decide what they're going to do. They've told us that they do not teach CRT, but they are committed to DEI. So trust is broken in this community. So they have a lot to do to get that trust back.
Yeah, they don't teach, CRT, right? They're just rebranding it. Adam, they're rebranding it and they're trying to loophole the system. Well, if we call it inclusion training, if we can't have this book in the school if we say it's a critical race theory book, but if we name it an inclusivity book, a DEI book, then it's allowed in the school system.
Yeah, they endlessly work to stay one step ahead of the parents every time. In some districts, they told us instead of calling it privilege, they now call it circumstance. In many districts, instead of calling it critical race theory, they started calling it social and emotional learning. They are determined to do this stuff and stay ahead of the parents any step of the way. And it's so frustrating because people want to trust their children's educators. They want to recognize that, sure, there are problems in public education, but surely my parents or my child's principal, my child's administrator, my child's educator, they wouldn't do those sort of things. But what we're learning is that they will, and nothing will stop them. The only solution is school choice.
Yeah, well, that's a great point, Adam. No, you got to get going. Kathy, I want to keep you on. Thank you so much for being here, Adam, president of Accuracy in Media. Thank you for the time, Kathy. On over to you again. Like I said, this is something that's happening every single day, not just in the school system, but in all corners of American society. I think of Project Veritas and all the work they do, similar to Accuracy in Media, exposing corruption in America's institutions. When are people going to finally have enough? We've seen that they have enough on local levels now and again. We've seen it in Virginia, right? The Loudoun County scandal that happened back during 2020, I believe it was. When is America as a collective, you think, to see teachers, see administrators going on and on and on, getting caught over and over again, and finally say, okay, you know what, that's it. It's time for a mass boycott of the public education system?
Well, I think we are on the way there. I think we do see Loudoun County or, some of the other school districts that have been fighting it longer than we have. But actually in Upper Arlington, where I live, we have had a transparency problem for the last 3 years. We've had some other things going on with trying to change our building code, to change our bathrooms to being only gender neutral so boys and girls don't have a choice. And we've had issues with books that are being read, that it might be in one school and the parents weren't told, and the district admits that it was against board policy. If it's a controversial topic, parents should have been informed. And so, in my opinion, they sort of pat the parents on the head and say, sorry, this happened, it won't happen again. But then it happens again. It just happens in a different school. And so we are trying. The best thing you can do is try to get a coalition of parents so they can tell each other the stories of what's going on, and a parent can realize, I'm not the only one. This didn't just happen to my child. It's happening all over the district. And super important to get people to run for school board so that people are paying attention. I've started attending every school board meeting so that I know exactly what's going on. They still hide things, but I'm more aware.
Yeah.
So,
well, the most parents can do, the more parents can do to keep their nose poked around in what the school is doing, the better, I say. Kathy Poltz, president of the Upper Arlington Education Coalition in Ohio, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
really, thank you very much.